Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Was Abused and Becomes the True White Dragon God Emperor Part 1. Before we start, please go support Issei Lucifer for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Chapter 1. Why Must I Suffer? Issei was adopted by Miki and Garo Hyoudou, but he was never told. He had an older sister named Lesha she didn't know either. They were a middle-class family who lived happily in the town of Kao. Life was going well for all of them, until they kept getting phone calls from Issei and his sister Lesha's middle school. They kept complaining about their son Issei, who had been caught peeping at the girls' changing room many times over and over again. They scolded Issei for it, but the calls kept coming over and over and over again until they could not handle it anymore and they started to physically abuse him. Little did they know that he was being framed by two boys named Mitsuda and Motohama at school. At first, the boys were taking his lunch money and making him run errands for them, and they threatened to beat him up if he didn't. Then he was framed by them for peeping at the girls. When they were the ones peeping at them, they would beat him up if he snitched on them or refused to do what they tell him to do. But even after all the physical and verbal abuse he received from school and home, he would still do his best to hide the pain. Soon time for high school came. He and his sister Lesha entered Kao Academy, which was an all-girls school prior to becoming co-ed. But that wasn't the end of the poor boy's suffering. He suffered all the way to second year, whereas his sister was loved and was proclaimed the three great beauty of Kao Academy alongside Ria's Gremory and Akeno Himejama. If his life at school was bad, his life at home was worse. His parent kept abusing him, belittling him every time they were around him. They hated him with all their existence and wanted nothing more than to kill him at some point. His twin sister Lesha just watched as her brother was beaten up at home and school. She did not want to interfere with anything as she wanted a life, but a part of her felt bad for Issei. Nevertheless, she pushed that feeling away. And people knowing that she is his sister would cause trouble for her, so she decided to ignore him. No matter what happens to him, he would keep his pain and suffering hidden and act like nothing happened. Soon everything started to grow worse. He would get constantly beaten by the people in the school. Since Mitsuda and Motohama did, they decided to do it too. Some did it for fun. It got so bad that they started to break his bones. Once they broke his left arm and leg and dislocated his jaw. And sent him to the hospital, but no one cared about him. Not even his parents. They did not even come to see how he was doing in the hospital, but the poor boy could do nothing about it except the pain. But every person in the world has a limit to what they can bear. How much can Issei bear? Time skip. The life of Issei Hyoudou has not been a very happy one. From being abused both at home and at school, no one cared for the poor boy. They only hated him for things he did not do, but no one believed him. Soon he is asked out by a fallen angel named Yuma Amano. "Yuma, would you please go out with me?" said a heavily blushing girl. The only response from the boy was a simple yes with a bright smile. This was the first time someone had talked to him with love. He didn't know how to respond. But fate once again shot his hopes down as he was killed on his date by Yuma, known as named Rainer, when he thought he was done for and all hope was lost until a crimson-haired beauty revived him as a devil. This beauty was none other than Ria's Gremory. She smirked as she revived him. Soon after his revival, he was given devil jobs to do by Ria's Gremory. However, he failed to get contracts. Ria's got fed up with it and called him to the classroom. Issei was nervous standing in front of Ria's and the orc. Her green and blue eyes turned slightly red, sending shivers down Issei's spine. "Ria's? Issei, do you know why you're here?" "Issei? And no ma'am." "Ria's? It's because you've been slacking off and you haven't improved your sacred gear due to your disobedience and laziness. I'm going to punish you." Issei got on his knees to beg for forgiveness. "Issei. Master, please forgive me. I've been trying very hard. I'll get better, please." Ria's silence. "You should have thought of that the first time. You shall be punished. Torture him." Everyone attacked Issei, except her knight. Issei knew this was upon to happen. He took it all. "Ria's. I will leave you as pity. Let us go." Kiba guard him. "Kiba. Okay Kiba." Well, the other members teleported to hunt strays. "Kiba. Are you alright?" "Issei. Why do you care? Aren't you gonna hit me now?" "Kiba. No, I'm not like them." "Issei. Hard to believe since you are with them." "Kiba. Please believe I didn't know they were this cruel. The only reason I'm a devil is because I was dying and Ria saved me." Issei looked into his eyes for any decite, found none. "Issei, okay, can get me to any hospital." "Kiba. Yes." He made a communication circle. Seconds later, a short black hair girl teleported and came to the door when she saw Issei badly bruised up and ran to check on him. "Sona. Are you alright? Who did this to you?" "Issei. You should know Sona Citri." Kiba then went on to explain what had just transpired. "Sona. I'm sorry, I didn't know my friend was that cruel." "Issei. Can you help me? I can't feel my body." He didn't trust those two for now, but he had to for now. "Sona. Okay." Teleported them to a private hospital. The doctors began to heal him. After a while they finished. "Sona. Do you feel alright?" "Issei. Yes ma'am, just saw that all those people don't hold back." "Sona. Why didn't you do anything?" "Issei. I wish I can, but that bitch will only make it worse." Sona was silent. She knew this to be true. "Sona. Well, I'll leave you too, Kiba watch over him. Kiba. Yes ma'am. She teleported somewhere while Issei closed his eyes, and Kiba sat by the bed thinking of how to get Issei to trust him, then an idea popped into his head. Kiba. Issei, do you mind if I ask you some questions? Issei. Sure, you helped me out, I owe you. Kiba. You seem like a decent guy, you're respectful, and you haven't once given any of the women here perverted glances. Issei, you're not a pervert, are you? Issei. Wow, I'm surprised you caught on. No, I'm not a pervert. I keep being framed by these guys at school, Mitsuda and Motohama, they beat me up, and if I don't do what they say they'll make it worse. They the money I earn by doing online surveys. Kiba. I'm sorry to hear that. Why wouldn't your sister Lesha say anything? Issei. She doesn't care, all she cares about is herself and her reputation, yet I've been kind to her only for her to disregard me in return. I understand it's due to the rumors, but she could have at least heard me out. She won't even speak to me anymore, so I'm done caring about her, she's selfish. Kiba. Listen Issei, you've been through a lot, you're a really good guy, and I want to be your friend. I won't pry into your past, but instead I'll tell you mine. Would you consider being friends with me? I don't expect you to trust me, it's just despite being popular I don't have any friends. Issei. Okay, tell me about yours and I'll tell you more about mine, let's be friends. Kiba. Thank you so much Issei, alright, I'll start at the beginning. Kiba then went on to tell Issei he was an orphan, which made Issei feel bad for him. Then he explained how he was once a part of the church, which shocked Issei. But then he got to the dark part of his past. He told Issei about the Holy Sword Project and the experiments done on them so they could wield holy swords, and how the Holy Sword Project suddenly fell and that Kiba's friends helped him escape while they were killed. Guards were trying to stop them from escaping. The building caught ablaze, killing some of his friends, while the others he doesn't know if they made it. He made it outside, but he was weakened from the fumes and smoke. He fell on the snow ready to die. Then he saw Ria's. The last thing he heard was Ria's, "I won't let you die. From now on you will live your life for my sake." After that he closed his eyes and woke up a devil. He then expressed his hatred for holy sword users and Excalibur. Issei listened attentively the whole time. Then Kiba told Issei about his life from that point up to now. Issei. I'm sorry you had to go through that, it seems we both have it rough. Kiba. Yes, it appears so. They shared a laugh, something neither of them had done in a long time. Issei. Hey Kiba, I understand why you hate holy sword users and Excalibur, but your anger is misplaced. Kiba. How so? Issei. You said your friends helped you escape, right? Well, maybe they knew they weren't going to make it and wanted you to live a happy life full of peace, not hold a grudge. And as for Excalibur, you shouldn't hate it. We were both dragged into the supernatural world, but the sword didn't do anything to you. You should make the people behind the Holy Sword Project pay. And if that's not good enough, blame God. He's supposed to bear our sins anyway. But be careful going down the road of vengeance, it might corrupt you. The whole time Issei was speaking, Kiba felt something strange inside his soul. Then he saw his friends telling him the same thing, and they started singing. One thing he couldn't understand was God being dead, but nevertheless he agreed to move on. He was also determined to help Issei. Little did he know this triggered his balance breaker, which he would eventually achieve. Kiba. Thank you Issei, you're right, I've lost sight of what's important, my rage blinded me, but you showed me the right path, thank you. Issei. No problem Kiba, now it's my turn. I'll tell you about my life. Issei then proceeded to tell Kiba about his life. The two actually had a lot in common. Once Issei was rested, Kiba teleported him home. Chapter 2, the adventure begins. The next day Issei met a nun named Asia Argento. She was kidnapped by Rainer twice. Issei tried to save her, but couldn't, he was too weak. She was killed later on by Rainer due to the extraction of her sacred gear Twilight Healing. But Issei was quick to try to save her as he begged his master Rias to revive her as a devil, but instead, she reincarnated Rainer, forcing her to be her servant. Everyone left afterward, everyone except Issei. He stood there by Isa's body. He clenched his fist and started to cry. Issei. Asia, I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough. You were the only one who's been kind to me, and I failed. I'm so sorry. If only I was faster and powerful, I could have killed those bitches and saved you. If I was powerful, I could have prevented myself from dying. I'm pathetic. Why do I always have to suffer? It's not fair, it's unjust and immoral. I never did anything wrong. Before I died I tried my best to be a good person, but God never helped me and I suffered. Why I just wanted a peaceful life. Sob. Why God, why didn't you save me? Or Asia, why didn't you make me stronger? Why is my fate so cruel? He released powerful aura. Parts of the church started to disintegrate. Issei. Why God, is it because I hung around devils? Is that it? Why couldn't you save Asia? Why did you make my life torture? Because he's dead. Who are you? Issei stuttered out in fear. Ah, it seems you have forgotten me. It was me who gave you the power to defeat that wretched crow, said the voice, and from the blizzard a colossal white dragon with blue eyes, yellow horns, and white feather-like scales. It was over 50 meters tall. The look in its eyes sent shivers down Issei's spine as he didn't know how to react in the presence of a mighty dragon. You must be Albion, the heavenly dragon? Issei asked with a little fear. Indeed I am Albion and from now on we are partners, don't worry, I won't harm you in any way, and as I previously said, God is dead, he died during the Great War, said Albion. Looking down, Albion saw that Issei was now visibly relaxing after being assured of his safety and having his question been answered. It's nice to meet Albion, as you know my name is Issei Hyoudou, Issei said as he introduced himself to the heavenly dragon. Yes, I know who you are, and until recently I couldn't make a connection to you, to speak with you because you were too weak for that, but your emotions and desire for power had made that connection possible. But now the question is, what do you intend to do with my power that is at your disposal? Asked Albion. To be honest, all my life I have been alone and have suffered betrayal after betrayal. The first one was my friend who left me as a kid. I know that sounds stupid, but explain it to a 6-year-old kid. My parents don't love me, they constantly abuse me, so do people at school, and my sister never sticks up for me. And when I met a beautiful girl who I thought loved me, my heart was broken even more than it had been when I was by the fallen angel who took advantage and killed me when I really did love her, even if knew her just for a day. To be honest, I am ready to block out my heart from feeling completely. So to answer your question, I will use your power and become strong enough so that no one will mess with me, Issei answered in a sad voice. The mighty dragon looked at his host with a little pity but a lot of admiration. His host had suffered so much but was still willing to work hard and secure his future. That was a very positive attitude. And he was going to make sure that his host didn't shut his heart out. Albion cared a lot about his hosts, and he won't let him keep happiness away from himself. Before Albion could reply, Issei continued and said, I also want to get stronger so that I can prevent what happened to Asia. And to protect any other people that I may come to love and care for, I will do anything that is necessary to get stronger. Issei honestly told the White Dragon Emperor. Now Albion was amused, his host had a very keen sense of justice and righteousness. He wanted to protect the weak from the strong. That is something a dragon would do. Also to add in the fact that he still kept his heart open for any possible future relationships. This was an even better attitude. His host may be weak right now, but his potential was limitless, he was 40% devil, and that automatically made him stronger than a few of his old hosts. Also, given the fact that he will live a very long life, only adds to sweet the deal, but then he noticed something familiar within Issei. That is very interesting, partner, I can see a strong will and desire from you, but if you truly plan on getting stronger, that you must do it quickly, because now that your sacred gear is activated, you will attract both strong enemies and allies to you. Many of them are stronger than you. Are you ready for that, Issei Hyoudou? Because if you try to run away, they will go for those you love and care to get to you. Albion asked. Issei gulped at that. That was something that he wanted to avoid at all costs, to fight the foes that are much stronger and have much more experience in combat than him was dangerous, and even worse is that the said foes are going to go after the people that he wanted to protect if they can't get to him. Yeah, I am ready as I ever be. Albion looked at Issei in his eyes, he saw a strong and determined look in his eyes. It was the look of a fighter, someone who is willing to walk the road of hardships. Albion now had little doubt that his host would be his strongest host ever. Things were about to get interesting. Specifically after what Albion had found in Issei's evil pieces and the power in Issei's soul that was strangely familiar. Very well, I, Albion, the White Dragon Emperor, the Vanishing Dragon, will aid you in your quest, but for now this is all the time we can talk here. But rest assured we can now talk even when you are not dreaming. But you'll need to become stronger enough for that to happen, Albion explained as the blizzard disappeared, which woke Issei up. What a strange dream, Issei mumbled. Then he noticed he was on the bed while Asia was on the floor covered in a strange frozen liquid. That wasn't a dream, partner, everything we talked about happened and was real. Albion said in his mind. So I wasn't dreaming? Issei asked out loud. No, you weren't, and you can speak to me just by thinking, you don't have to talk out loud. Now I have a plan for your training, it will take 2 months to complete, but by that time you can take on high class. Also, in case you're wondering, I brought you and the girl here while I was talking to you, and about the liquid her body is frozen in, it will keep her body from deteriorating and stop her soul from escaping. Once you become a high-ranking devil you can resurrect her. Issei, really, thank you Albion. No problem, just get some sleep, we begin training tomorrow. Also, I'll send her body to one of my hidden layers, that way nothing happens to her. It's Issei. Okay Albion, thanks. The next day Issei woke up, he used magic to modify his clothes, he got dressed, but then he stopped. What's wrong, partner? Issei. I don't want to go downstairs or go to school. Don't worry about breakfast, I'll handle it, just focus on training for now. Just call your school and tell them you're not feeling well, and I have a plan to deal with those perverted idiots. Issei. Thanks Albion. Having finished speaking with Albion, he went to the bathroom. After taking a shower he then sneakily packed some food before leaving. Reaching a secluded area, he released his divine dividing and flew off towards the mountains in the distance. After arriving there he said to Issei. Alright Albion, we are here. What do you have in mind? Pretty simple, partner. I am going to use the magic from your evil pieces to change you into a devil-dragon hybrid. Albion explained. Issei, I see. So according to you, how will this alter my power if I go through with it? Well, for one thing, it will increase your strength and speed almost alarmingly. You will become strong enough to punch craters in the ground. After that, your magical reserves, which are non-existent right now, will increase and rival high-class beings. Apart from that, your senses will become much sharper and your brain will be able to process things in nanoseconds. And finally, you will have an unnaturally high affinity for ice and fire. Now I will ask again, are you willing to go through with it? The only repercussions are that you will be in pain for the entire process and that dragon-slaying weapons will be more effective against you. But before doing that, we need to cast a time barrier spell. 24 weeks inside it will equal 1 hour outside the barrier, Albion explained. He then went on to show Issei how to use it. Once that was done, they started training. Let's do it. The pros outweigh the cons and I can finally show the world that they can't mess with me, Issei exclaimed. At that moment, Issei suddenly felt a searing pain in his heart and fell down unconscious even before he had the chance to scream out in pain. Time skip 1 week. As soon as Issei regained consciousness, he was immediately hit by multiple noises and multiple scents. The influx of new information was too much for him to handle and he grabbed his head in an attempt to lessen the headache. That was until Albion spoke up and said, welcome back to the land of the living, partner. Albion boy, am I glad to hear you. How did everything go? Issei asked. The process went off without a hitch. You are now 60% dragon and 40% devil. Your magical reserves are now the same as your master, perhaps even slightly larger. You have grown a few inches in height. You will be feeling heavier, that is due to the rebuilding of both your bones and muscles. Also, the color of your eyes changed from the usual brown to bright blue like mine, and your hair has also changed color from brown to white. The current look you have will cause girls to have nosebleeds just by looking at you, Albion explained. Issei. That's perfect, I just use concealment magic to hide my new looks. So Albion, now what's next on our agenda? Our next step will be to get you reacquainted with your body and get used to the changes. You will be physically training to get all your bodily functions back. During the night I will teach you how to call on and use your draconic abilities and will also help you in harnessing your ice and fire affinity. Thanks, Albion, you are the best. Now let's get to training. Issei exclaimed as he stood up and wobbly began walking, trying to get his control of his body back. Time skip 3 weeks. So Albion, what now? I have mastered my body and my draconic powers along with a fair control of ice and fire. What do we do for the second month? Issei curiously asked. Well, now that your body conditioning is over, I have calculated that your body can take almost 350 divides. We are going to unlock your balance breaker and try and increase the number of divides your body can handle. Now to unlock your balance breaker, I want you to jump off that cliff without your wings. Issei. Are you insane? I will die if I jump off without my wings. Shut up, you brat. The balance breaker is only unlocked by intense emotions or by going through a life or death situation. Also, don't worry, I will save you before you touch the ground, Issei. Fine, then let's go. He made his way to a tall cliff. Gulping his throat, he took it deep and then jumped before he started screaming. He opened his eyes and screamed even louder. He was getting closer to the ground, just 30 meters from the ground. His divine dividing appeared from his back and Albion's voice roared, vanishing dragon balance breaker. In a flash of white light, Issei was covered in white draconic armor and was floating in the air. Wow, this feels amazing, I could get used to this. He began testing his armor. Congratulations, partner. I am proud of you. Now we will work on increasing your time with armor. And I will also be teaching you the abilities that have been unlocked along with armor. At your full power you could go head to head with cadre level beings. Issei. Thanks a lot, Albion, it wouldn't have been possible. You are the best partner possible. Thank you, Issei. You saying that means a lot to me. Normally all of my hosts discard me as a tool for them to use and don't even talk to me. Thank you. Issei, hey, don't be like that. You are practically family to me, you're the only one who cares about me. We are also the strongest duo in the world and we will only get stronger. Albion burst out laughing and heartily nodded, and then Issei resumed his training. Time skip next day. Issei. So I am finally back. I won't lie, it isn't good to be back. Issei thought. I get what you feeling, partner, don't worry, just stick to the plan. Mentally nodding, Issei sighed and made their way to the school. As he entered the gates, everyone looked at him with disgust. When the guys saw him, they decided to follow him so they could beat him up. When he entered the school building, he was cornered by the guys. Motohama. Hey Issei, we need some money. Mitsuda. Yeah, the only thing you use it for is porn, you filthy pervert, all you do is pecan like you, we got laid. GUI1. If you do what I say I might buck you. Issei. Good for you now, buck off. Everyone that was watching was shocked. They expected him to bow like a bitch and do what they said. Issei's voice was carried throughout the school. Nearly everyone came. Mitsuda. What the hell did you say? Motohama. I think he got some loose screws. Issei. You heard me, buck off, bitch. Crowd. Ooh. At that moment Lesha was coming down the stairs to see what the commotion was all about. Then she stopped and sighed when she saw Issei being ganged up on. But what she saw next shocked her. Issei punched Motohama and sent Mitsuda flying. Lesha, when did he get that strong? What happened to him? That look in his eyes, they hold determination. He was never like this at home. What happened to him? He's full of rage. But Issei. Everyone was shocked that Issei punched Motohama and threw Mitsuda like he was a toy. GUI 1. Get him. GUI 2. You'll pay for that. I 3. Who do you think you are? Hyoudou, you're nothing compared to us, you pervert. Issei. Don't you dare call me by that despicable name. I am not a Hyoudou, I hate them. That includes my sister Lesha Hyoudou. I am Issei Hyoudou Sparta. He continued his assault. He said Sparta without even noticing it. Albion was shocked. So was everyone else when he said his sister was Lesha and he hated her along with his parents. So you're a Sparta? That's what felt familiar. I need to dig deeper. Wait, he's Virgil's son. That makes him Nero's brother. I wonder what will happen when they cross paths. Lesha. Hyoudou, if I am not mistaken, that's the name of a mythological dragon, and he hates me. She started to cry. Even though she avoided him, she still cared about him, but didn't show it. She was too worried about herself and her reputation. She never once tried to help him ever since the rumors started, but he kept being nice to her and helped her. Essa can't be helped, but he completely disowned me and our parents, and now everyone knows I'm his sister. Maybe he was telling the truth, maybe he was being framed and bullied. She didn't use Hyoudou as her last name, she used Hysteria. But Issei. All the students were shocked and furious. Lesha was his sister and he hated her. How dare he be related to one of Kao Academy's queens and say that? The girls wanted to attack, but before they could, guys were sent flying their way. Issei was still kicking their ass. He gave them uppercuts, roundhouses, haymakers. He even broke jaws. He did like these videos. This lasted for about 15 minutes. By this time he had taken down 150 guys and wasn't tired. The other guys were afraid they pissed themselves, and the girls were worse. Some of them had a sticky liquid going down their legs. This was due to his dragon aura. Some were even blushing. Then Issei said, "If none of you want me to beat the shit out of you, back off now." He released his dragon aura, making everyone back off. Then he walked over to Motohama and Mitsuda. He grabbed them by their necks, slightly choking them. Issei. You there? He pointed at two people. One worked for the student council, while the other worked for the school news. Start recording. I want this live, so everyone can see this. They did what he said without hesitation. This was due to Issei's aura. ANF Albion. Now tell them that you were the ones who put those magazines in my bag and locker. Tell them that you made me come with you to peep on the girls, then let me take the fall when you were spotted. Tell them you've been bullying and abusing me for no goddamn reason. Tell the truth now. They saw a large white dragon growling at them. They shit themselves. Perv 1. What are you talking about? Issei broke his hand like a twig. Issei. Each lie will earn you a broken bone. Now you 5 minutes to tell the truth. Perv 2. Yeah, we never did that. Aha. Issei. Wrong answer, scumbags. Issei broke his arm and bent it 180 degrees. People in the crowd screamed, others gagged. They never knew Issei was so brutal. The screams caught the attention of Sona, who came in to investigate but had to get through the large crowd. But Riaz heard a familiar voice. Issei. Tell them the truth now or I'll cut your hicks off next. He took out a pocket knife. Perv 1. Okay, I admitted. It was us. Perv 2. Yeah, we did it all. We're sorry now, please let us go. Have mercy. Both said while crying. Issei. I did show mercy. Both of you can still jerk each other off with your other arms. The crowd went. Oh snap. Issei looked up and saw his so-called sister staring at him, so he grabbed Motohama and held him facing Lesha. He had blood all over his face. Issei. You see, Lesha, it's over, but you never believed me. You never tried to stand up for me, but I did it all on my own and now everyone knows the truth. But I am not a pervert. He slammed Motohama into the floor just enough for him to stay conscious. I'm done with the hiatus, it's over. This is the price anyone who gets on my bad side will pay. Sona finally gets through the crowd and sees the two self-confessed perverts, each with a broken hand and arm and covered in blood respectively. Then looks at the man who did this. It was Issei. Issei began to walk away after doing what he came for. The crowd began to disperse, and the pervs ran away from the crowd of girls that were going to kill them for using Issei as their scapegoat. Then Kiba came and he was shocked when he saw guys laying on the ground and blood on the floors and walls. He walked up to a student and asked what happened. His eyes widened. When he found out Issei did this, he looked at his phone to see the video. He couldn't believe what he saw, and part of him was proud, another was frightened. Kiba. Issei, how strong are you? The guys that Issei beat up, whom the Kino duo later were taken to the infirmary while Motohama and Mitsuda were taken to the hospital. They'd be there for 3 months. For the remainder of the day, everyone left Issei alone. The teachers were afraid to say anything to him, and at lunch, everyone stayed away from him. Issei didn't mind, he preferred being alone right now. Everyone was shocked when they saw Kiba walk up to Issei. They were worried he'd snap, but to their surprise too. Issei. Kiba, what's up? Kiba. Do you mind if I sit here? Issei. No problem. Everyone's jaws hit the floor. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. Cow Prince was sitting with the former pervert who beat up the majority of the school, and they were having a casual conversation. Issei noticed this, paused their conversation and sighed. Issei. Listen, I'm not going to hurt anyone, as long as you don't make the mistakes those perverted idiots did. They didn't expect me to get stronger, and they got bitched around, so as long as you don't try to frame me, slander my name or try to ruin my life any more than it already is, I won't do anything harmful to you. And as for the Kino Club and the girls that beat on me, I forgive you, but next time do thorough research on someone. And as for my relationship with Kiba, he's my best friend, he also helped train me. Well, I specialized in power, Kiba specializes in technique and speed. All the students were shocked to hear Issei and Kiba are best friends. It shocked Kiba as well, but he was happy and he didn't expect Issei to give him credit. Kiba. It's true, I noticed a while ago that Issei isn't a pervert, so I decided to talk to him. Soon he told me how he was being framed and abused. I offered to speak on his behalf, but he wanted to solve the problem himself, so he trained to build his body. Well, I helped him with his speed, technique, and fighting style, and while doing so, we found out we have a lot in common and we hit off. They gave half of the truth. Well, the girls were shocked by what Kiba said, but was nevertheless happy for the two of them. Then the bell rang, and everyone headed back to their classrooms before Issei and Kiba split up. Issei thought about where he was going to stay. Issei. Hey Kiba, I don't have anywhere to go, could I move in with you? Kiba. Sure, I don't see a problem with it, we can meet up after class. Issei. Sure, thanks. Well done, Issei, you put those miserable fools in their place, and you did it without killing them, just like a true dragon. I'm glad I met you. Issei, I'm glad I met you too. Later. Chapter 3, The Path to Peace. After separating, Kiba and Issei went to their respective classes. Issei for once paid attention to his classes, and it actually felt good. He felt like he had achieved some small peace. Then 10 minutes before the bell rung, a guy named Saji, who was a part of the student council, came to Issei's classroom. Saji. Issei Hyoudou, please come with me, the head of the student council wants to speak to you. Issei. Sai, lead the way. They walked towards the student council room. It was pretty silent before Saji decided to introduce himself. Saji. My name is Saji, nice to meet you. Issei. It's nice to meet you too. So he's a devil, and it seems he has sacred gear. Saji. Hey, thanks for beating up those assholes, they were causing problems for the student council, and I'm sorry for what happened to you. Issei. Don't be, and it's no problem, I was glad to put them in their place, and now we don't have to worry about them doing it to another person ever again. Issei, I'm sure you already noticed, but this guy has a sacred gear, it's Vitra, the evil dragon king. Issei. No problem, return back. They arrived at the student council room. Saji, now he knocks. Sona. Hello Hyoudou, please have a seat. Issei. Hello Miss Itri, and please don't call me that, you can call me Issei. Sona. Very well, first off, I am sorry for what you had to endure as head of the student council. I will make sure this doesn't happen again. Also, thank you for taking care of those perverts. I did some digging and found out that they gaped some random girls. As a result, they'll be going to prison. You have to see them ever again. And do you mind if I ask some questions? Issei. Go ahead. Sona. Thank you. First off, how strong are you? Issei, if I lie she might see through me, but even if I tell the truth there's still a chance she may tell Riaz, so I'll have to strike a deal. I want to make a deal. If I tell you how strong I am, I want you to promise me that you or your peerage won't tell anyone. In exchange, I will help Saji unlock his sacred gear. Sona. That sounds reasonable, but how are you going to do that? He summoned divine dividing suns, and Saji's eyes widened and their mouths flew open. Sona. You're the White Dragon Emperor. Issei. Yes, I am, and as for how strong am I can take on both you and Riaz without my sacred gear. Saji. Damn, he's strong if he beat Riaz and Sona, but he's only been a devil for a short time. I mean, so have I, but this shouldn't be possible, should it? So how's this going to help unlock my sacred gear? Sona. We'll get to that in a minute. Issei, what are you? It's hard to believe you're part human. Issei. I'm not human anymore, I'm a dragon-devil hybrid. He snapped his fingers revealing his true form. Sona blushed, and Saji was gobsmacked. He couldn't believe how good Issei looked. He could probably get every girl in school including the teachers. Saji, you hold Vitra, the evil dragon king, training with me, and Albion will benefit you and Sona. Sona. I see very well, I will let you train Saji. Next question, you said you're related to Lesha. Issei, yes, but before you ask, I stand by what I said, I am disowning them. I don't care if she's hurt by what I said, she never did anything for me. Well, I kept being good to her, and as for where will I stay, I'm moving in with Kiba. The Hydas are no longer my family. Actually, they were never your family, to begin with, they aren't your parents. Issei. Wait, you saying I'm adopted, are you sure? Yes, I noticed something familiar in your soul, so I did some digging, and I found something incredible. Issei, your real name is Issei Sparta, your Virgil's son. Sona stood up and slammed her hands on the desk. Sona. Are you serious? Yes, I am. I was shocked as well. In fact, I was shocked when he proclaimed it during the fight. Good thing Riaz or her peerage wasn't around. Sona. Riaz has no idea what she's done, she's an idiot. But Issei, it's best to keep this a secret. If the underworld, scratch that, if the three factions find out, they'll do anything to get you on their side, even the angels. And as for the devils, they'll put you in arranged marriages, hoping to bring back the devil race and give birth to strong devils. The fact that you're the White Dragon Emperor doesn't help. The fact that you're a Sparta is one thing. But being related to Virgil, you just might be the best White Dragon Emperor the world has ever seen, past, present and future. The nobles and council members will do nearly anything to get you to marry their daughters and swindle you to their side. Issei. Damn, I just want peace. I don't mind having a harem full of beautiful women, as long as they genuinely love me, but what's the deal with my dad Virgil? Saji. I wanna know too. Sona. Alright, listen carefully. Before Lucifer was cast out of heaven, the underworld existed, and demons lived there. Most of them were strange, abominable looking creatures. They were strong too. How they came to be no one is sure, but the underworld at that time was ruled by the demon known as Mundas. He looked how devils do today. However, he was able to change his form into that of a true devil. He ruled the underworld for thousands of years. His right-hand man was Sparta, the ancestor of all Spartas. He helped Mundas conquer the underworld and keep peace. Sparta was content with it, but Mundas became greedy and decided to try to rule the underworld and the human world. Sparta didn't exactly agree, but went along with it. However, he saw that it was wrong. He turned against his brethren and protected the human world. He slew the demons. He even helped the angels and became friends with them. Mundas was furious and continued the attack on the human world. The battle continued for 2 years. Then the time came when Sparta and Mundas faced off. The battle resulted in Mundas dying and Sparta being gravely wounded. He was in the brink of death, so before he died, he created a barrier in hopes that his sons Virgil and Dante would be able to handle any demons that managed to survive. Saji. What happened next? Sona. History repeated itself. Issei. What do you mean? Sona. Unknown to Sparta, Mundas had a son who was stronger than his father. 1,000 years later he grew up, and by that time the barrier Sparta created was destroyed by him and started entering the human world. He was determined to finish what his father started. Thankfully Sparta and Dante, who were stronger than their father, were ready. They had been training for many years. Due to a message their father left them, they succeeded in driving back the incoming demon army, which for some reason were stronger than usual, not counting the ones Mundas' followers experimented on. Virgil and Dante had their work cut out for them. Virgil and Dante defeated the demon army and killed Mundas. This time Virgil used a special sword called Yamato, which is said be able to cut anything in the world, even space and probably time itself. It's said to be stronger than Durandal. He used the sword to separate the human world from the underworld. It is still separated to this day. Afterwards Dante had a son named Nero. His mother was human. There was a rumor Virgil had a son, but it was never confirmed. My guess is that he hid you to protect you. But Issei. But what? Sona was hesitant on telling Issei the next part. She didn't know how he'd react. She was worried he would actively that form. Saji. Kachayo, what's wrong? Issei. Sona, please tell me, is he dead? Sona. Why yes, I'm sorry to have to tell you that. The way he died is heartbreaking. He died fighting Dante. No one knows why. Sure, they had their differences and had different mothers, but it shouldn't have come to that. I'm sorry. Issei. It is heartbreaking to learn about my ancestry, only to find out my father and uncle died. What about Nero? I can answer that Nero was my strongest host. He took down 2 red dragon emperors in their juggernaut drive form, but he never used it when he was alive. He could somewhat keep up with me when I was in my prime. However, one of Drake's hosts pulled a dirty trick. He fired an attack at some innocent people. He knew Nero would save them, so once Nero was distracted, he stabbed him in the heart with a sword coated in special holy water. An. Albion already explained how the sacred gear works and told Issei about his history with Drake, how he'd have to fight his host, and he explained the supernatural to him better than Riaz did. Issei was pissed at the Drake and his host. Issei. I swear when I meet the red one I'm gonna kick his ass. Deep breath. That aside, do you know who my mother is or Yamato is? Unfortunately, I don't. Who your mother is, however you can try to wake up Nero. He may know where it's at. Issei. Alright, I'll deal with it later, Miss Citri. Sona, call me Sona. Issei. Alright Sona, thank you for telling me about my ancestry, and I can begin training with Saji in a couple of days. Saji. Thank you Issei, I promise to be the best student possible. Thank you for this opportunity. This is the best news I've heard all day. Issei. You're welcome. I ding sigh. It's Riaz, I have to go, she wants to see me. Sona. Alright, thank you for your time, see you later. Issei. Sure. Later he walked towards the door, then he stopped and turned around. Sona, is it possible for me to join your peerage? I don't want to keep serving Tomato Head. Sona and Saji had to contain their laughter at Issei's nickname for Riaz. Sona. Unfortunately no, not unless Riaz decided to trade you, even then I'm not strong enough. Issei. Don't be, you gave me an idea. Sona. How so? Issei. All I have to do is make myself useless and she'll get rid of me. I'll keep doing it until I find a good master. Have a good day, Sona, thank you. Then he whispered in Saji's ear. Don't worry, I know you have feelings for her. I won't try to win her over. Saji nodded. Issei patted him on the shoulder and walked out. Sona. So what was that about? Saji jumped. Saji. Just some guy stuff. He was hoping Sona wouldn't pry and she didn't. Sona was sitting there thinking how she could help Issei, then she had an idea. She remembered a devil future heiress who was coming to Kao and wanted to start a peerage, and with Issei having cleared his name, along with his good looks, would be able to join her peerage with no problem. As long as she was strong enough, Sona reluctantly decided to call someone who could pull some strings. Her sister. She had Saji leave. Sona. Ring ring ring. Hey big sister, how are you? Serafal. Oh so Tan, it's good to hear from you. You must miss me. I'll come over right away. Sona. There's no need to, besides you're a devil king, you can't just leave. Besides. Serafal. You mean you don't fake sob love me anymore? It's been a long time since I've seen you. Why are you so mean? Sona. Fine, hurry up and come, this is extremely important, I need help. Serafal teleported instantly. Serafal. Where's that mean guy that threatened you? Magic girl, leave it, Tan will blow them away. Sona. Serafal, stop it right now, have a seat, there's no danger. Serafal sat immediately. She was shocked. Sona normally calls her sister, big sister or sis, and Sona has never raised her voice before. Serafal dropped her playful act and took things seriously. Sona. Sigh, I'm sorry for yelling at you, please forgive me. Serafal. It's alright, so tell me what's going on, you have my full attention, she said in a warm loving voice that showed she wasn't angry. Sona. What about to tell you? The council must not hear of it, at least not yet. Serafal nodded, but she was on the edge. What did her sister have to tell her that was so important that she couldn't tell the council? Today I spoke with a descendant of Sparta, his name is Issei Sparta, his father is Virgil Sparta. Serafal couldn't believe what she just heard. She knew her sister wouldn't lie to her about something like this. She understood why she couldn't tell the council. Serafal. How? Are you sure he's Virgil's son? I mean, there's been rumors, but. Sona. Yes, though I wasn't the one that confirmed it. Issei didn't even know he was a Sparta. He was adopted at a very young age, and though he was human his last name was Hyoudou, but he recently disowned them due to harsh treatment. Serafal frowned. For some reason she didn't like where this was headed, and she didn't like the fact that Issei had to endure harsh treatment. She had a bad feeling about it. Serafal. Who confirmed it and what exactly do you mean by harsh treatment? Sona. Try not to go crazy, but his partner Albion, Issei is the White Dragon Emperor. Serafal just sat there blinking. She was trying to process what Sona said. Sona was worried she broke her. It was hard for Sona to believe at first too. Serafal. What, how is that possible? Who's his mother? Sona. We don't know, but we do know his mother is human. Regarding his harsh treatment, Issei was abused by his adoptive parents. They abused him due to him being framed as a pervert. He tried to tell them it wasn't the truth, but they didn't listen. They kept abusing him, and his sister didn't stand up for him. She was only concerned about herself and her reputation. He was abused for 2 years until today. As for who framed him, it was some boys in this school that were actually perverted themselves. They took his money, beat him up, and threatened to make it worse. He couldn't do anything about it. Until recently he gave up his humanity and was turned into a dragon by Albion, and today he snapped. He mercilessly beat up the guys that framed him and made them tell the truth, thus clearing his name. He also disowned his sister Lesha, who is popular here, and his adoptive parents. He currently goes by the name Guiber, which is Albion's last name. Serafal. No one should have to go through that, and I imagine his sister is hurt by him disowning her, and everyone knows what she did, but she deserves it. What she did was unacceptable. She should have stood up for him. Do you have a picture of him? Sona. Yes, here. Serafal blushed when she saw how handsome Issei was. Sona noticed it and was shocked. She didn't expect her sister to take an interest in Issei. Serafal. How strong is he? Sona. He said he was stronger than me and Riaz combined. That's actually why I called you. Serafal. Interesting, he's that strong already. What does Riaz have to do with this? Sona. He's currently in her peerage. This was a 180 degrees for Serafal. She did not expect this. Serafal. How did she convince him? Sona. She didn't. He was murdered by a fallen angel who pretended to love him. At the end of the date she mocked and berated him, then she left him to die. Luckily Riaz showed up and reincarnated him. She doesn't know he's a Sparta or the White Dragon Emperor. His transformation. Serafal. That's really sad. It's no surprise he snapped like he did. Fate truly has been cruel to him. No one should have to go through that. We can only hope this doesn't leave a scar on his heart and soul. Sona. I agree, and regarding Issei, he wishes to join peerage and leave Riaz. Serafal. Why? Sona then explained how Riaz treated him. Serafal nearly froze the whole room several times, but she managed to control herself. Serafal. She's such a fool. She lost her only chance of getting out of her engagement. If her family found out how she treated him they'd go berserk. Sona. Well, one way or another the truth will come out, and I know your peerage is empty, so I was wondering if you'd take him in, or if you could get him into Ajuka's niece's peerage. Serafal. I wouldn't mind taking him in, but it might cause problems for him and me. Regarding Ajuka's niece, I think I can make it work. I'll have to talk to Ajuka and the others first. Sona. Thanks, he shouldn't have to suffer under Ria's, he's too pure-hearted, and I was worried about Ria's going too far and him activating the Juggernaut drive. Serafal. That truly would be a problem, and if something happened to you and Ria survived, I'd kill her. Sona for a moment remembered that Serafal wasn't just her sister, she was a devil king. Serafal. Well, I'll be off, but do you know where he lives? I want to talk to him myself. Sona. Sure. She wrote Kiba's address on a piece of paper and gave it to Serafal. Serafal. You did the right thing contacting me, I'll let you know what happens. With that, Serafal teleported back to her office in the underworld. With Issei talking to walking ketchup bottle, sassy arrogant bitch flavored. Issei. Sigh, I wish I didn't have to deal with this bitch, and she's gonna keep bothering me about my sacred gear. Don't worry Issei, I have a plan. When she asks you to show your sacred gear, do it, okay? I trust you, Albion. Knock knock. Riaz. Come in. Issei walked in, he saw Akeno standing next to Riaz, Kaneko eating, and Kiba was opposite to them. Then he saw Rainer. Without thinking he summoned his sacred gear. He was shocked when he saw the white gauntlet appear on his arm, and so was everyone else. It was a 2-hit critical. It looks like this image, it being white. Rainer. Laughing, really, that's all you can do? How pathetic. Albion had to stop Issei from killing the bitch then, and there Kiba frowned at her. She was playing with her life. Issei already had plans on killing or torturing her. She was only making it worse. Kiba knew from the fight at school, Issei was hiding his strength and holding back as well. Riaz. Don't be so hard on him. Even if his sacred gear is worthless right now, it could evolve into something powerful. Besides, we've already found a candidate peerage member. Riaz stopped suddenly. She had an idea. Issei, bring your sister here tomorrow. She has a powerful sacred gear. Is that understood? Issei. Yes master. He tried to leave, but Riaz stopped him. Riaz. Also, I'm kicking you out of my peerage. I'll be trading you tomorrow, and I likely need all my pawn pieces. Issei was overjoyed, but quickly put on a sad look so Riaz wouldn't catch on. Little did anyone know he was a great actor, well, except Albion. Issei. But master, why? I've been trying so hard, please don't toss me away. Riaz. Silence. If you're worried about Kiba, I will allow you to interact with each other, but I've already made up my mind, and make sure you look presentable tomorrow. Issei. As you wish master. He turned around and left. Albion was laughing his ass off at Issei's performance. Ahahahaha, that was flawless. The bitch doesn't have a clue. You're an excellent actor, Issei. Everything is going in our favor. I have a feeling the Citri girl has a hand in this. Issei. Thanks Albion, hopefully I end up with a good master, but for now I have to go pack up my things so I can move in with Kiba. He already gave me a key. So Issei teleported to his room. When he did, he found his so-called sister sitting on his bed. She was startled when Issei teleported, and Issei was shocked to see his so-called sister sitting on his bed. Lesha. How do you mmhm? Issei pinned her on the bed. He was now on top of her. She tried to resist but couldn't. Issei. Be quiet and I'll let you go. She nodded. Issei got off of her. Issei. First off, why are you in my room? Second, why are you wearing that? She was wearing clothes that hugged her breasts and ass. Lesha. I wanted to apologize and talk to you. As for the other part, she blushed. Since mom and dad aren't home, I was going to give myself to you as an apology. Issei face palmed. He couldn't believe what she just said. Albion was laughing his ass off. Issei. Is she serious? I'm not like that. You might as well, since she's offering and you aren't related. Issei. Albion, look, I'm mad at her, but I still see her like a sister. But all jokes aside, I think you should hear her out. I can tell she's sincere. Also, don't be surprised if ends up joining your harem. Hahaha. Issei. Damn you, Albion. Sigh. Fine, alright, start talking. Chapter 4. Lesha. I'm sorry about everything. I'm sorry for the way I treated you. Please forgive me. I never believed the accusations from school, but mom and dad made me stay out of it. They said it was for the best. Issei. And you believed them? Lesha. Yes, I know was wrong, but please don't hate me. Please give me a chance to redeem myself. My friends didn't care about me. They only wanted to use me because I'm popular. I'm sorry. Issei. Sorry. You think sorry is enough to cut it after everything you three put me through? His eyes turned to blue and had slits like a dragon. Lesha was shocked. It's going to take more than sorry, and no, I'm not interested in your body. I won't forgive you anytime soon, maybe never. Besides, we're not even siblings. Lesha. Yes, we are. You're my brother. Issei. No, I'm not. He revealed his devil wing. Lesha couldn't believe what she was seeing. She pinched herself. Lesha. Issei, what happened to you? Issei. I changed. Not that it's your concern, but I'm a devil. That's how I teleported here. Lesha. But how this should be? Issei. Impossible. I thought so too, but I was wrong. Look, I'm not going to give you the rundown on my life, how I've been, how strong am I, and how I became my devil. Just know I won't forgive you for a long time, and you're about to become one too. Lesha. What do you mean? Issei. My master Ria's grimoire sensed powerful sacred gear within you, so tomorrow I'm going to bring you to the orc and she'll try to convince you to become a devil. I suggest you listen to her brother, I'd Lucifer after all. Esha. Ria's is a devil and her brother is Lucifer. Issei. Yeah, so it is best to go along with what she says. Also, I'm sure you're wondering what sacred gears are. They are weapons created by God and given to humanity to defend against the supernatural. Some sacred gears can even kill gods. Lesha couldn't believe the information she was receiving, to think all this is real and people walk around with weapons having no idea. Issei. Well, anyways, I'm moving out. You can tell Mickey and Gauru, you can also tell them I know I'm adopted, but don't mention the supernatural unless you want to get them killed. He teleported to Kiba's apartment, leaving Lesha with a lot to think about. He arrived at Kiba's place and told Kiba everything that happened while he unpacked, and he showed his true form. After that, Issei went to take a shower while Kiba made dinner. After dinner, they cleaned up and went to sleep. Not too long after Issei had finished training with Albion in the mindscape, when a red magic circle appeared in his room, Issei recognized it instantly. It belonged to the Grimoire family, but what shocked him was that Ria's came out of it. She pushed Issei onto the bed, simultaneously casting a soundproof barrier. For some odd reason, no matter how much strength Issei couldn't move, and he couldn't contact Albion, who was asleep. Issei. What are you doing, Ria's? Ria's. Issei, I need you to take my virginity. Issei. What? No, I don't want to. Ria's. I thought of all sorts of things, but this seems to be the only option left. Issei. Option for what? Riaz ignored him and started taking off her school uniform. Issei started to get angry that Riaz was forcing herself on him. Riaz. If there's evidence, then they can't complain. The only person close to me that can do it is you. Kiba's honor won't allow him to. She now sat on top of his manhood without her panties, and she grinded her hussy a little bit, causing him to unwillingly have an erection. Even his body was against it. He couldn't figure out how she was stopping him from fighting back, but he felt a sharp pain in his chest making him comply. His will was the only thing stopping him from bucking her datum. I not good enough. Issei. No, you're not. I don't want to have sex with you. She slapped him. As she did it, he felt something flow into his brain. He was losing his strength to fight her. Riaz. Are you trying to embarrass me? Issei. And no, I. She then put her hand on his face. He once again felt something strange run through his body, and she spoke in a forced, sweet, loving tone. Riaz. There are many things you lack in, but you have potential. You are the only one who would do as I ask and do it till the end. You are a pervert anyway. She was sending signals to his unconsciousness. Albion was doing his best to stop as much of it as he could, but the evil pieces were interfering. Issei felt his mind slipping, then it dawned on him what she was doing. He started to cry. All the mental boundaries and walls he built were starting to crumble. He couldn't but help think how Riaz was going to gape him. Issei. Riaz, please stop, I'm begging you. Ape sent skipped. What are you waiting for, Issei? Do it quickly, Riaz commanded her him. When he still wouldn't move and was shaking, not from excitement but from fear, Riaz decided to take matters into her own hands and grabbed Issei by the shoulders before she put him down against his bed. On my bed. There is a fully naked girl on top of me. She's saying that I can do her. Issei thought with an unfocused and faraway look, but there was nothing but liquid ice in his veins, stopping him from making any movement. Then he lost control of his mind. It felt as though he was falling into an endless abyss. Then he stopped himself. Issei. No, I refuse to let her use me like this. I didn't give up most of my humanity to end up like this, defeated by some simple spell. I refuse to give up. I didn't train my ass off to become stronger just to be gaped and used by this bitch. No, I made a promise to myself that I'd never be weak and used again. I need power, more power. Then a figure appeared. He had red eyes and grayish hair like Issei. Smirk. So you want more power, huh? Issei. Who are you? That's for me to know and you to find out, but are you really gonna let this red-eat bitch take advantage of you and gape you? Didn't you make a promise to yourself? If you can't keep your promise to yourself, how can you expect to keep your promise to Asia? Now rise up and show that red-headed bitch who's boss you're Sparta and the White Dragon Emperor. You bow to no one. Stand up and show her and everyone else the power of Sparta. Issei suddenly felt a rush of power in his body. He looked, and the person speaking to him had faded. Issei started to rise out of that mental abyss. Fine, I will do it myself, Riaz angrily said to the petrified Issei. She was about to make her body engulf Issei's manhood inch by inch, but stopped when she felt Issei grab her arm. He squeezed it tightly. She looked into his eyes, now no longer brown, but blue and red eyes. She felt fear as she looked into them. Issei pushed her off of him. She hit the floor. Riaz was surprised. She couldn't understand how he was able to override her control, but that surprisement was replaced with anger. Riaz. How dare you? I am your master. You will do as I say. Issei. I said I don't want to have sex, and I won't let you gape me. Riaz jumped on the bed, tackling Issei. She tried to pin him to the bed, but failed. Issei and Riaz wrestled for dominance. It would have been over already if Issei didn't have to hide his power. Then suddenly they heard a strong voice. Riaz, Grimoire, what do you think you're doing? Riaz was shocked. She was so busy wrestling Issei that she didn't notice the person teleport there, but Issei did. However, he couldn't help but stare at her. She was a beautiful woman appearing to be in her early 20s, with silver hair and matching eyes. Her hair, which flowed all the way down to her back, featured a long braid on each side with small blue bows at the ends, while the rest is let down, ending in twin braids. She wore a blue and white French-made outfit with sleeves and a white-made headband over her head. The beautiful silver-haired maid spoke silently after understanding the situation that was happening in front of her. "Are you trying to break the agreement by doing something like this?" The maid said plainly as if she was astonished. Riaz twitched her eyebrows hearing that. "Riaz? If I don't go this far, both father and big brother won't listen to me, right?" she inquired. "Both Surzicha-sama and the master will become sad after they find out that you tried to force your purity on some person like this." The maid calmly replied as she began to collect Riaz's clothes. "Riaz? My purity is mine only. What's wrong with giving it to someone whom I acknowledge, Grafia?" Riaz angrily said to the stoic maid. She completely missed the fact that Grafia watched the whole ordeal. The woman called Grafia picked up Riaz's bra. "Issei. But I don't want it, so got off of me." He pushed Riaz off the bed. She somehow managed to land on her feet. "Grafia. Anyway, you are the next heiress of the House of Gremory, so please don't show your skin to a man recklessly. Even more so if you are in the middle of this situation," Grafia said. She then puts the bra on Riaz's body. The woman looked at me. She then bowed her head down. "How do you do? I'm a maid that serves the House of Gremory. My name is Grafia. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I apologize for Lady Riaz's actions." "Issei. My name is Issei Hyoudou. It's a pleasure to meet you, and there is no need to apologize. Thank you for showing up." Grafia Hyoudou, that's Albion's last name. Is he somehow related? Or her thoughts were cut short when Riaz, not liking the exchange between her pawn and Grafia, snapped her fingers dispelling the magic and started speaking, interrupting them. "Riaz. Grafia, did you come here of your own accord? Or because the household sent you? Or is it big brother?" "All of them," Grafia replied. "Riaz. Is that so? You, who is my brother's queen, came to the human world personally. So it can only be one thing." "I understand," Riaz said and picked her clothes up. She puts her arm through her clothes. Her naked body was getting covered. Then once dressed she left with Grafia, thinking of how to punish Issei. However, that would have to wait. Chapter 5 Hope. After Grafia and Riaz left, Issei sat on his bed for a while before he started crying. It had been a long time since he cried. The last time he cried was when his arm was broken, and before that it was a little while after his so-called parents started abusing him, but after a while he stopped crying and just took it. All the fortitude, self-restraint and self-control crumbled as he continued to cry. It woke Kiba up. He came to Issei's room and saw him crying. "Kiba. Issei, what's wrong?" "Issei. Everything. Why do I always have to suffer? Why is fate so cruel to me? All I want is peace and to be loved." Kiba sat on the bed and gave Issei a hug. He let Issei cry on his shoulder. He didn't understand what had happened to make Issei break down like this, but he knew he needed comfort. Then a familiar voice spoke to Issei. It was the one that gave him courage and helped him stand up for himself. "Issei. Issei. Albion." Divine dividing appeared on his back. "Issei, are you alright? I'm sorry for what happened. I had went to sleep, then I sensed you full of rage, hatred and grief. When I tried talking to you, your mind blocked me out." Kiba, who had been sitting there listening, was now curious as to what had happened, where even Albion couldn't help him. "Kiba. Albion, please tell me what happened." Issei is too hurt to say anything. "Very well, the redeeded bitch you call master tried to gape." Issei. Kiba was in shock. He almost couldn't believe Riaz would do such a thing. But then he remembered how she treated Issei. Now Kiba was thinking what caused her to do this. Had she sensed Issei was hiding his power? No, he ruled that out. It was impossible. So did she do it for fun? Either way, he wanted to know what caused Riaz to attempt such a thing. Kiba, why would make her do such a thing? Issei. Something about breaking a marriage. All I know is that she was manipulating me by using magic to turn my unconsciousness. If it wasn't for that mysterious person helping me, I would have gotten gaped, and I'm glad that maid came or it would have turned into a fight. Now Albion was intrigued. Mysterious person? Issei. Yeah, it was some guy. He didn't tell me his name, and I can't remember his face, but I remember him reminding me of everything I've been through and the promises I made. He told me to rise up and show her the power of Sparta. After that I found the strength to resist her. Then that maid appeared. Kiba. You must mean Grafia. Did she have silver hair? Issei. Yes, she made Riaz leave, and she apologized for Riaz's behavior. Do you know what they were talking about regarding marriage? Kiba. No, but my guess is she's engaged to someone. Issei. Oh, that makes sense. All I should get some sleep and thanks, Kiba. Kiba. No problem, that's what best friends are for. So with that situation settled, Kiba went back to his room to sleep, and Issei went to sleep as well. The next day Issei and Kiba were called to the Orc. When they arrived they found out so was everyone else. To Kiba the atmosphere felt cold and hostile, while Issei simply ignored it. Then he looked and saw that beautiful maid again. Her is Grafia. Issei. Those eyes, no matter how much she tries to hide it, I can tell, she's sorta like me, alone. Well, except for Kiba and Albion. I wonder what made her like this. Is it because she's lonely? It could be that I agree she is very much like you, perhaps she could be one of your mates, she'd be a good addition to your harem, and she's quite strong perhaps, but I'll treat her with kindness and love to rid her of her sadness, and I'm still not sure about the harem thing. Don't worry, it's natural for us dragons to have multiple mates, besides due to your power bloodline and good looks it's pretty much inevitable. Yeah, I hear you, but I'll take it slow. Issei cut the mental link between him and Albion. Albion's had a good morning so far, and Issei preferred if that doesn't change. Riaz. Everyone won. The reason I called you is because the truth is I'm engaged. Before she could finish, a magic circle appeared in the room bursting with flames. Issei recognized that crest and mumbled Phoenix under his breath. No one heard him. Albion taught Issei about the supernatural. Phoenix, Riaz said with venom as she saw who appeared out of a magic circle. Out of the circle stepped a young-looking man that appeared to be in his 20s. He had short blonde hair and dark blue eyes. His outfit was a burgundy blazer with matching pants and black shoes. Underneath his open blazer was a simple white shirt. "Ah. It's been so long that I have set foot on Earth," voiced the young man. "Rizer. What are you doing here?" Riaz questioned as she tried to keep her voice neutral, but it was obvious that she was very close to exploding. "Rizer, Riaz my love. Have you already forgotten about it?" replied the now-named blonde man as he took her arm. "Riaz, no, I didn't forget, and it was agreed that I have at least until I graduate from college in the human world. So I ask you again, what are you doing here?" she said as she yanked her arm from his grasp. Seeing this and not knowing about anything that was said or what was this guy doing here. "Rainer, what the buck is going on here, and who is this guy?" "Rainer, this here is Rizer Phoenix from the Nobel House of Phoenix," Kiba politely answers, making Rainer look at him. "Rainer, and that means what?" she questioned again, still not understanding the situation at all. Rizer, seeing this exchange, decided to intervene. "Rizer is surprised that a simple peasant doesn't know who I am. The Rizer is disappointed in you, Riaz. I thought that you told them about Rizer." He kept referring to himself in a third person, making everyone want to fassip him hard. "Rainer, who are you calling peasant? You overgrown fried chicken?" Rainer demanded as she glared at the nobleman. Predicting that the fight is about to begin, Grafia decided to intervene. "Grafia, Rainer, Rizer here is from a noble house of Phoenix, as said he is also Riaz's fiancé. And thus they are in an arranged marriage," she said. Rainer was left stupefied with this info. While she didn't like Riaz, she hated arranged marriages. What was the point in being with someone for eternity if you don't love that person? Issei on the other hand smirked. Albion's plan was flawless. Her losing the game would make her the chicken slave for eternity. That would be a fine revenge for what she did to him and for trying to gape him. Riaz was still fuming about an idea of having to marry a playboy devil who wanted nothing more than to buck her senseless. She wanted to get married to someone she loved and who loved her back. Not for political or any other thing, just from love. She wanted nothing short of killing Rizer, but she also knew that she didn't have power and experience to do it. That was why she had Issei. She knew his sacred gear was powerful if it was unlocked. Even someone as weak as Issei, yeah right, buck off, Riaz could beat him, given enough time to train. While she was in deep thought, Rizer decided to take this opportunity to check out the other girls of Riaz's peerage, specifically her queen. "Rizer, come on my dear, let's get married already, you know it's for the greater good of our race," he told her after he finished his gazing and grabbing her hand. That made her return to the real world, where she immediately pushed him back. "Riaz, for the last time, no Rizer, I will not marry you, I will marry someone that I love and that loves me back," she snapped at him while her eyes turned red and a scary aura surrounded her. Before Riaz could reply, Issei spoke up and said, "Issei, I don't see what the problem is, my king. He did say it for the betterment of the devil race, so I think you should accept. Rizer likes you. What is your name?" Rizer asked Issei. "Issei, my name is Issei Gwyber, I am Riaz's pawn. I was forcefully reincarnated because of that bitch crow over there who killed me. Now that I think of it, she probably made the crow her servant so she could defeat you." "Rizer. Sounds probable, you're smart, I like that." Before things could go any further, Riaz slapped Issei extremely hard, so hard you could hear it every including Rizer was shocked. Rainer smirked. She thought a filthy perverted human like him needed to be put in his place. But Riaz had made a big mistake. She had coated her hand in the power of destruction. When she slapped Issei, she accidentally hit some of his eye. "Issei. Ah, my eye, you bitch." "Rainer. Serves you right, filthy perverted human." "Kiba, President, why did you do that?" Kiba was pissed. His best friend was hurt, but he could do nothing as Issei cried in pain. Grafia was upset as well. She knew that was uncalled for. She walked towards Issei and Riaz. "Grafia. Lady Riaz, that was uncalled for." He simply made a statement. "It is unbecoming to take out your anger on anyone you wish, that includes your servants." "Rizer. Rizer also agrees. Rizer would never do such a thing to my servants." "Riaz. Silence is my pawn, and I shall do as I please to him. I am his king, as such he should side with me." Before Riaz could finish or Rizer could give Issei a phoenix tears, Issei moved so fast, only Grafia, Rizer and Kiba could follow his movement. Issei pinned Riaz against the wall, choking her. Everyone was shocked at the speed Issei moved and that he was overpowering Riaz. She tried to use her magic, but Issei released divine dividing and reduced it to nothing. Everyone except Kiba had wide eyes. They knew what those wings meant. They meant Issei was the White Dragon Emperor, but now they were afraid they incurred a dragon's wrath. They knew how dangerous it was. They had many examples over the years. Issei was shocking the life out of Riaz. Grafia, assessing the situation, took action. Grafia. Issei, please let go of Lady Riaz. I understand she has done some wrongful things, but this won't solve anything. Issei didn't respond. He only growled. He was fed up with Riaz, so was Albion, but he did his best to make sure Issei didn't kill her. Seeing that Issei wasn't listening, Grafia hit Issei with a powerful ice attack, sending Issei crashing into the wall. It was supposed only to knock him out. Grafia rushed over to Riaz to check on her. Grafia. Lady Riaz, are you alright? Riaz. Yes, cough cough. What happened to Issei? Grafia. When you slapped him out of rage, your hands were coated with the power of destruction and you damaged his eye, causing him to snap. As to why your magic didn't work, Issei is the White Dragon Emperor. He divides the power of whatever he comes into contact with every 10 seconds, sustaining him with that power instead. Riaz was shocked to find out Issei was the White Dragon Emperor. She considered him weakling and worthless, but now she thought she had a chance to break the engagement. Issei came out of the rubble. Everyone was shocked to see he was unfazed. He didn't have a scratch on him. Kiba, who was initially worried when Issei was hit by Grafia's magic attack, was relieved to see Issei was okay. He knew Issei was strong, but Grafia wasn't called the strongest queen for nothing. She was an ultimate class devil. Everyone was on guard when Issei came out of the rubble. He stood there with his hair shaded his eyes. Riser summoned his peerage, just in case Issei decided to attack when they arrived. He ordered them to be silent and be on guard. They obeyed. However, they were curious about the boy standing in front of them. Issei was silent for a while, then he spoke. Issei. Lady Grafia, I understood I overstepped my boundaries. Please forgive me. He bowed, which was something no one expected. Riaz, on the other hand, was furious. He should apologize to her, not Grafia. Grafia. It's alright, but please control yourself. Lord Lucifer would not be happy if you attacked her again. Nevertheless, let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.